5 hidden details in The Nun that everyone completely missed. Hey guys, today we're going to list 5 hidden details in The Nun that everyone completely missed. Let's get right into it. Number 1. Y'all belong to me. Valak, a pretty and bothersome demon, interrupts Father Burke and Sister Irene's sleep after they arrive at the isolated Romanian abbey for an uncomfortable overnight stay. Instead of, attacking, killing and possessing one of the 2 new visitors to the abbey right away, catching them both off guard before they've even had a chance to consider the scope of the evil forces they're up against, Valak chooses to be a nuisance. Burke is awakened in the middle of the night by the demon blaring the radio in another room, and the song choice reflects the demon's cheeky nature. Instead of blasting static or local Romanian station programming, Valak takes care to play a song with a message. The radio that wakes Burke up is playing Joe Stafford's version of You Belong to Me, which means exactly what it looks like it means, with the lyrics like, "Remember darling, till you're home again, that you belong to me." Valak is a very subtle character. What a strange devil. Number 2. Precious Memories. The Nun's second major expanded universe connection is a photograph visible during Burke and Irene's dinner on their first night in the abbey. The photograph, which can be seen in the background, was first mentioned by Sister Charlotte in 2017's Annabelle creation, which takes place 3 years after the events of The Nun. Sister Charlotte is pictured with 3 cloistered nuns, who she claims she became very close to at some point in the past. Those bonds aren't really cemented in The Nun, because by the time Irene and Burke arrive at the abbey in 1952, all of the nuns Charlotte knew are presumably dead. Given what we learned during the events of The Nun, it's almost jarring to see the sisters have a moment of levity. According to what we know about the location, the nuns of the abbey have been praying for literally hundreds of years to keep a monstrous devil from entering the world, with the worst of the demonic activity picking up in the years following World War II. With the abbey essentially serving as a front line in a spiritual battle against actual demons from hell, it's difficult to imagine anyone being so at ease on the grounds. Is Charlotte in 1955 aware that her friends are long dead, or that they died for such important work? That does not appear to be the case. She appears to be unaware of her good fortune. Number 3. What's Your Name? 5 films into the series, it appears that the Conjuring supernatural world extends far beyond individual haunted locations. To some extent, the entire world is haunted. All you have to do is know how to read the signs. Before Father Burke and Sister Irene arrive at the abbey, supernatural activity is at work, though it's all rather subtle, to both the characters and the audience. One of the darker omens that appears before things really get started occurs in the village outside of the abbey, where we learn that Valak's corrupting influence can be felt among the populace. Burke inadvertently places his bag in the back of an unrelated truck as Burke and Irene prepare to embark for the abbey with their local guide, Maurice. It's a funny moment, except for one oddity: the vehicle's license plate. With the exception of a few random letters and numbers, the plate reads Valak, for the most part. Why? Who knows? The demon's presence simply causes its name to appear, and the license plate isn't the only place in the film where this occurs. The name can also be seen partially in Irene's introductory scene, spelled backwards and vertically on some of the educational wall art in the classroom. It's worth noting that the presence of Valak did the same thing in The Conjuring 2. The demon's name is its most vulnerable point, but Valak can't stop revealing it. Number 4. Shadow Walking. The Nun reintroduces one of the titular demon's most effective moves from The Conjuring 2, this time to terrorize the younger Farmiga sister. During her first night at the abbey, Sister Irene stumbles across Valak, or at the very least, the demon's shadow representation. Irene wanders the halls alone by lantern light while Burke lies trapped in a coffin in the abbey grounds graveyard. In one chamber, the demon appears in shadow form on the wall, in front of Irene, catching her attention. Valak's shadow walks across the walls toward a mirror in the room as she watches in terror. When the shadow reaches the mirror, the demon appears in a terrifying reflection in the room behind Irene. Viewers who have seen the Conjuring films will recognize this as the exact same move that Valak pulls years later when it has a moment alone with Lorraine Warren. Valak's shadow walks its way through a cozy wood-paneled study toward a portrait of the demon nun in that film, playing mind games with the paranormal investigator. It's almost depressing to see the monster do the same thing in this prequel. Valak has now appeared in 2 films, and it appears that he has exhausted all of his tricks. Number 5. The Start and the End. In its final minutes, the nun travels from the Romanian Abbey of St. Cartus in 1952 to Wakefield, Massachusetts 20 years later. This postscript scene reenacts the Nun's finale, revealing that the lecture given by Ed and Lorraine Warren in that film was all along referring to an encounter the couple had with the Nun's Maurice, who is revealed to have been possessed by Valak during the final battle with the demon in the Abbey's catacombs. That's all for today, and we'll be sure to catch you all in the next one.